So in the next 10 minutes,
please tell me what it is.
Okay. Okay. So in the next 8 minutes, we will give you a survey of DH because we are that good. Not really. We'll try and, so basically we divide into 3 parts. Why DH, what next, and why DHAI. Okay. So I'm going to start off. So DH, digital humanities, a lot of us now talk about the fact that digital humanities is basically when you answer humanistic questions through computational tools. That's sort of a simple definition, right? But obviously DH is far more complicated than that. DH is a convergent set of practices. DH is when you transfer any form of humanistic artifact into a digital media, so there's remediation there, right? And obviously any kind of remediation leads to different knowledge systems. Okay. So I'm going to start off with a quick anecdote. A couple of months ago, me and a few of my students, we presented at MICA, the International Conference on Communication at MICA, and our topic was basically, we argued that reading science fiction texts makes you better leaders, right? So one of our argument, and it was sort of quite well received there, but we found we were very methodologically constrained. Why? Because we had only 4 texts that we close read. There were 4 texts which we close read, 4 literary texts, some of them texts which were all films as well. But we were very, very methodologically constrained because we thought, well, science fiction is not 4 texts. It is far more than that. Even a representative sample of SF or dystopic SF cannot be just 4 texts. So because I am at a management institute where I get to talk to colleagues who are not just from communication or humanities, that's a wonderful thing. So I was chatting with a colleague from OMQT, which is Operations Management and Quantitative Techniques, and his name is Professor Shantanu Banerjee. He's a Bayesian statistician, right? So, and I started discussing with Shantanu that, Shantanu, so we discussed what the projects are. I started discussing with Shantanu, this is what I'm constrained by. Shantanu said, well, there's something called topic modeling in Bayesian, which is basically when you can analyze, infinite number of texts compared to what we can do now. And the computer is basically has, it's called LDA, latent district allocation, right? What the algorithm does is basically it starts grouping words that look like similar topics to it, right? So it would group. So I can show you the sort of chart we have or the results a little later when we have more time. So what they can do is they'll not assign names to the topics, right? They'll just tell you, say if you say I need 20 topics, they'll tell you these are the words that fall under this 20 topics. You can also choose the number of words. So this is where the quantitative researcher ends and the qualitative researcher walks in, and you decide what these topics look like. If you decide X, these number of 10 or 15 words are about love, then that's the topic. If they are about leadership, for example, I'll give you one of the insights we've had. Science fiction focuses a lot on time, clearly. So in all of those topic lists we've got time as one of the main peaks. And to be a leader, Forbes says recently from a Forbes magazine which we are operationalizing in our research, Forbes says that leadership is not about the today, it's about the tomorrow. So in a sense, you have to live in the future to be a leader. So one of our arguments is that why science fiction is a good tool to learn leadership is because it, to borrow Jameson's words, it defamiliarizes your present into a future, a determinate past, right? So that's what. So I'll give you a personal example of DH for the very simple reason, and I think Chaz, Paul, and Sneha can argue on this or tell us more about this, because DH is not one practice, it's not one method, it's not one object of inquiry. It's a converging field of practices. There are 2 things I use this example of close reading versus distant reading, to use Franco Moretti's words, not to say whether one is bad and the other is worse, or one is good or bad, right? My main point saying is that every medial system creates new knowledge systems, right? So every remediation creates new knowledge systems, right? And what's the effect of that? The effect of that is how we must create, and I wrote this down because I want to sound exactly right, how we must create cultures of conversation between various disciplines to understand DH not as a separate term, but as a collective singular. This is SNAP actually. A collective singular that remaps traditional humanities practices. And then, how DH helps us constantly interrogate what is the humanities after it has been digitalized, or what is the digital after it has been humanized. That's one of the core questions I think that we want to address in this conference, right? So I hope we'll do that. And I want to end on a sort of quick pithy note. So the Digital Humanities Manifesto 2.0, most of you are familiar with Snap and Fresna, right? I think UCLA and Berkeley, right? Those two people. So I have rephrased, so they end with 5 things, but I want to end with, so the what next is these 5 things. Number one, don't lose hope in the humanities. They've been there before us, they'll be there after us. Don't complain. Don't say the humanities marginalized. Work to make it mainstream again. Right? 2, dialogue, disagree, fight about DH, but at least do something about it and spread the word. Number 3, ideas are not only bulletproof as V for Vendetta, but they're catalysts of change. So every idea that you create here today will create something different. And number 4, join DHAI. Right? Okay. So I will let Nirmala explain to you why you should join DHAI. Right? That's it. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dibya, and welcome to all our participants, our keynotes, and special thank you to Professor Krishnan for being here at this time in the morning. So, Dibya has asked me to tell you about the Digital Humanities Alliance of India, the association, and but I wrote a few things down, so I'll try to kind of take you through it. When any new association is formed, or when a discipline has found a footing within academic discourse, it becomes imperative to ask and articulate the founding principles, purposes, and pathways for the founding group. So why have a DH Alliance of India? And it seems to us that the answer is more directional than definitive. And that is how we have looked at this alliance. And it kind of goes back to the way it began. It began as a working group of academics around India who were working in this area but did not know too many people. Right? A couple of parallel things happened. One was, yes, we were having these conversations. 2 was, we had a GYAN program at IIT Indore with Paul, which was the first digital humanities GYAN program across India. And we had wonderful participants. And during that initiative, what we realized was that there were a lot of students, scholars, faculty in different colleges, in different universities across India who are working in areas that they were not sure would be called digital humanities or not. So they had also come to find out, like, the kind of cross-disciplinary or interdisciplinary work that we are doing, does that classify or categorize as digital humanities, right? And so when we saw that there was this enormous amount of work being done, and some of us who have been to international conferences, and we knew that they were on par with some of the works we have seen in these other places, we realized that we need some kind of a loose working group, association that would give a platform to showcase these works from India. So that is how this conversation about DHAI started, I think in 2016, Divya?
August.
Yeah, August 2016. And we've now kind of formalized it as an association. And because, as Professor Krishnan pointed out, we have an IIT and an IIM in Indore, and both of us were working, were co-founders of the association. It came upon us to start the inaugural, to kind of set the ball rolling with the inaugural conference. So here we are. Yes, so I was looking at some of the projects that we came across while we were doing the GYAN program. Many of these projects were working independently of each other, and in many cases these researchers did not self-identify as digital humanists. There was little or no knowledge of these works outside their institutional and disciplinary networks, and they were not at all well known to the global digital humanities community. So we have, like, for example, very developed research in computational linguistics. There were research groups in computer science working on Unicode, developing software algorithms for Indic languages, which is very much like, something that, for example, personally I'm very interested in. AI in perception and cognitive computing, game theory, digitization, all its variant avatars, scholarship, archaeology, history, but most importantly also, like, digitization of our polity and democracy. Yeah. So I think, what Dibya was pointing to was there were 2 aspects of this. One was, of course, that, creating content, creating knowledge production, but a part of it also was this kind of the furious pace of digitization within our government and our policies. And so there needed to be a body of scholars to look at that critically and to examine that and question it when needed. I admire my colleagues from computer science and from other technical fields, and it's great to work with them. But oftentimes we have questions about these processes that's not the first thing that occurs to them. And I think so. In some ways, it is imperative that we work, together as academics, as scholars. To sum up, I don't want to take too much time, as Dibya said. I see DHAI as a data point in our digital humanities journey, a data point that is part of a cosmic but networked chaos. As scholars who work in the intersectional identities of the digital and the humanities, these data points are marked with a lot of support, mentoring, learning and unlearning. And I think, we are on that journey. I had a list of objectives that, that we have as a community, as DHAI Alliance of India, which we'll share with you as a document. So I think, I'll stop there, and I'm open to any questions throughout these next 2 days about the Alliance. And we will, of course, be sending out, listservs and membership forms and everything after this. So welcome once again, and thank you.